name is Vivian Kane.
Vivian Kane.
Yes.
Yes. But how long you've been coming to the Universal Church?
I've been in the church for 3 years.
3 years?
Yes.
Okay, so basically after 1 year in the church, you became an assistant.
Well, there was a time where something had happened and I spoke to the pastor and I was removed for some time, but it was because I was too busy giving and not focusing on myself. I was willing to help people, I was willing to give advice, but when it came down to myself, I started lacking. I didn't see it. I didn't see that, oh, maybe I need to seek for myself, because I thought I was still seeking. It's not like I stopped praying. I was doing everything I would do, but I would just dedicate myself more to other people than to myself.
So it was this problem that made you...
Actually, I received...
It was the first problem you had?
This was one of the problems that I had.
One of the problems.
Yes.
You said you were too much busy. What do you mean? Busy with what?
Busy, it's funny because it's busy with the things of God. So it made me think that because it's for God, it wasn't a problem. But you have to have balance in everything. So I received the blessing. I received the job that I was fighting for a long time in the church. I wanted to work for about a year and I didn't see any results. So I got a job. But little did I know this job was a blessing, but within the job there was a curse. And a situation happened which caused me to lose everything. Everything that I fought 2 years for, I lost it all. But what I did was I went ahead. I didn't wait to be put to shame by the devil.
After you received the blessing, you made yourself busy with the blessing you received.
Yes.
And this is one of the biggest problem we have among, not only among assistants, but also even among members. Yes. They receive a blessing, but because they don't know how to manage that blessing becomes, as you said, becomes a curse. Yes. In their lives.
Yes.
And this is basically what happened to you.
Yes.
What happened with this? You said for over 2 years.
Yeah.
You fought, you persevered to get a job.
Yes.
You got the job.
Yes.
And then you said it became a curse.
It became a curse.
Why you say this job, this blessing became a curse in your life?
This job became a curse in my life because I was focused on the job, of course, because I fought hard for it. But within there was a certain person, a coworker that I had met. And the first thing I said to myself was, of course, everybody who goes to the church, you're going to say it's tied up. You're going to focus because you know it's a trap from the devil. So I myself knew. It's not like I didn't know and I said, oh, whatever. I knew. So I tried my best to stay far. I tried my best to keep distance from the guy. However, there was one moment where we all used to take the train together going home, always traveling, and there was no problem. One night, the train that I took completely skipped my stop, Bishop, completely. And I was just confused. Like, it skipped my stop to the point where we were at the last stop, and I said, how am I going to get home? What am I going to do? It was already late because we got out of work late that day. And he said to me, we can get off the train and I'll let you take a cab and I'll pay for you. At that moment, Bishop, I didn't answer. I didn't reply to him because I was still confused as to why did this train skip my stop? It never happened before. Mm-hmm. So then, as we were on the train, we had to get off. There was no other solution. I said, okay, I'll let you pay for the cab. We got off. Instead of that happening, Bishop, I ended up in his house. And I didn't sleep with him. I completely stopped myself, but I felt to myself that what I was doing there was wrong. What was going on there was not supposed to happen. But I made sure that even if I was stuck somewhere, I was not going to lose my salvation at that moment. And then I completely stopped him. I said, I want to go home. And I ended up going home. Bishop, no relationship, nothing. It's like like colleagues, co-workers. You know them because I also worked at the job with my family. I had cousins who worked there as well, so we all knew each other. So it wasn't like we had a secret relationship or nothing like that. I didn't even know him till I started working there.
Okay.
So, and the very next day, after that happened, the very next day I ran to the church, Bishop. I ran and I spoke to my pastor in tears because I felt ashamed. I didn't have problems sleeping that night because it was just like, I was just so confused. I even lied to my mom. She said, "Where were you?" I couldn't tell her. I couldn't say anything. So I waited till the next day. I went to the church. It was on a Friday. I went to speak to the pastor and I told him everything. And of course, disappointment because nobody wants that upon you. And I told myself, you know what, I'm going to be sincere because like I said earlier, I'd rather put myself to shame than for Satan to put me to shame later on. I'd rather humble myself and confess everything so that I can be free, that I don't have to be guilty and feel bad for myself in my mind and my conscience. So after I spoke to the pastor, I stayed for the service Friday morning and I manifested. So after that, that's when things began to get serious. The pastor was like, "What happened? Break into detail. What's going on? Did you eat something? What did you do? Are you sure you didn't sleep?" And I said, "Pastor, I didn't do any of that."
But when you first came to church,
Yes.
During meetings of deliverance, do you remember if you had manifested for the Spirit?
When I first came to the church, I manifested for 6 months straight. 6 months manifestation. Every Friday, every service that had to do with deliverance, I was manifesting. The only thing that changed that, I did a campaign of Israel, Mount Sinai, for me to be completely delivered, my whole deliverance. And that's how I started changing, receiving the Holy Spirit. And that's how I also became an assistant. So it was experience.
How is Vivian today? All this, you said you spoke with the pastor,
Yes.
you confessed, you clean up your heart.
Yes.
I do believe you are not going to fall into a mistake like this again.
I learned my lesson.
You learned.
I learned.
How is Vivian today? How are you inside?
Today inside, first of all, in my mind, I'm clear. I don't have any doubts, anything accusing me of what I did. Inside of me, I have peace. And I can say, it's funny because my relationship with God is stronger now than it was when I was an assistant. Because I've had the opportunity to actually focus on myself 100%. I had the opportunity to just say, you know what? It's about me and my relationship with God. It's like a revival. And I see myself not as, I don't remember myself, okay, I used to be an assistant or I used to be this. I clean my slate. I feel okay, I'm a new person and God has much more for me. Don't give up because it's not about who starts, it's about who finishes. Maybe you say, oh, but this situation is too hard, this situation, I want to give up. Don't give up. Look to God because think about it. But don't leave the church, don't backslide, don't turn, don't say, okay, I'm just going to throw the towel because I can't. Because if I myself wanted to, I could have left the church. I could have said, okay, I'm not coming back, I give up. But because I knew what God did for me when I came to the church, how he helped me from 6 months of manifesting with evil spirits, I did not want to go back to that. I didn't want to go back to a life of being in hell because I knew the devil, if I were to leave and give up, the devil would destroy me completely. So just keep fighting and trust in God. Depend on God and he's going to bring you through it.
Okay, Vivian, thank you very much for your story.